And thanks.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We really can't say it enough. It's incredible that we ask for your voluntary contributions, and you all come through for us. Thank you so much. It is the critically important time when we raise the funds that keep WNYC on the air. That is why we do these on-air fundraisers. We know it's not the most compelling content in the world, but it is the way we get the business done. 888-376-9692. Pledge online at WNYC.org, and we have a dollar for dollar match in effect right now. It's not going to be in effect after 7 o'clock. Please donate now, WNYC.org.
Support for WNYC comes from Peacock, presenting the new original Apples Never Fall. From the author of Big Little Lies and Nine Perfect Strangers, the series stars Annette Bening, Sam Neill, Jake Lacey, and Allison Brie. Apples Never Fall streams March 14th only on Peacock.
This is WNYC 93.9 FM and AM 820, NPR News and the New York Conversation.
Marketplace is supported by JLL, leveraging global data, local experience, and technology in its quest to solve complex commercial real estate challenges. JLL.com. See a brighter way.
Repeat after me, people. 70% of this whole economy, 70%. That is why we talk about consumers so very much. From American Public Media, this is Marketplace.
Marketplace is supported by Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, working to treat previously untreatable cancers through protein degradation, which can target cancer-causing proteins and destroy them. Dana-Farber.org/everywhere. And by Condor Airlines, offering nonstop service from 13 U.S. gateways to Frankfurt, Germany, plus seamless connections to over 100 European travel destinations at Condor.com. And by Buyside from the Wall Street Journal. Buyside's reviews and recommendations help consumers decide how to spend their time and money at WSJ.com/Buyside.
In Los Angeles, I'm Kai Risdale. It is Tuesday today. This one is the 5th of March. Good as always to have you along, everybody. We talk a lot, yes, we know, about the spending habits of the American consumer on this program. Goods versus services, falling inflation versus rising incomes. We wade into familiar ground again today for news on how people are spending their hard-earned dollars, in particular, how they are making them stretch. Target announced fourth quarter profits today, right around $1.4 billion in the last 3 months of 2023. That's up from a year ago. Interestingly, though, sales for this year, 2024, are going to be somewhere in the range of flat to 2%. Target does have a plan, though. Private label. The groceries and clothing and kitchen appliances that Target itself owns can thus price for cheap and thus get good profit margins. In fact, private label sales across grocery and other retailers hit an all-time high last year, so says the Private Label Manufacturers Association. But there is an art and also a science to making your private label seem, just as good as the other stuff on the shelf. Marketplace's Matt Levin gets us going.
Even though it feels like I spend half my waking hours at Target, I was pretty surprised to learn they have over 45 private label brands. You might know some of them. There's Good and Gather for the slightly cheaper organic granola, Threshold for the slightly cheaper bath towels, but there's also Spritz for party supplies, and Mondo Llama for art supplies, and California Roots for your Cabernet Sauvignons. Retail analyst Sucharita Kodali at Forrester says the average Target customer probably doesn't know those brands are private label, which is part of Target's strategy.
What having another brand enables you to do is sometimes just create different design, packaging, and you can, it may create the veneer of, oh, this is like a cool new brand that you may be wanting to try.
Consumers generally want their food and clothes and beauty items cheaper, but they don't want to feel cheap buying them. Katie Thomas is at the consulting firm Kearney.
The reality is price does communicate some kind of quality typically. And so the retailers started to realize I can actually get a little closer to these name brand products. And it actually in some ways legitimizes me, especially if I'm still a little bit cheaper.
Private label products are also a good deal for retailers. They don't have to split sales with name brands. They can also give house brands the best shelf real estate because they own the shelf. But David Swartz at Morningstar Research says private labels aren't a cure-all for every retailer. He points to the clothing chain Kohl's, which dropped several private label clothing lines, even though they comprised a big chunk of sales.
What Kohl's found is that it didn't really drive traffic to the store. Their ads will still show brands like Nike and Adidas.
National brands that Kohl's thinks might be a bigger draw. I'm Matt Levin for Marketplace.
Wall Street on this Super Tuesday, not really so super. Actually, we'll have the details when we do the numbers. Artificial intelligence is, and I believe this is only taking slight poetic license, everywhere. And as it spreads ever more, federal agencies that make the rules for this economy are trying to keep up. One of them, the United States Patent and Trademark Office, is out with some new guidance on AI and intellectual property. To work us through the legalese, we've gotten Janet Freilich back on the phone. She is at Fordham Law School. Professor Freilich, welcome back to the program.
Thanks so much. Happy to be here.
Since last we spoke, there is new guidance, I guess, out from the Patent and Trademark Office on AI in patent creation. What's the news?
That's right. So the Patent and Trademark Office has issued guidance clarifying whether an artificial intelligence machine can be an inventor on a patent. Essentially, it's saying who gets the money from the patent? Is it AI or is it going to be a person?
And don't leave me hanging.
And the Patent Office says it's not AI. It's going to be the person. So they say inventors have to be human. AI can't be an inventor.
But AI can be used in the invention process, yes?
That's right. And that wasn't clear before the Patent Office issued these guidances. The Patent Office says that inventions where AI is used to help come up with the invention are, I'm going to use the legal language here, are not categorically unpatentable. Digging apart the legalese here, talking about a scenario where a person is using AI to make an invention. The person can be listed as an inventor, but you don't also have to name the AI. And the reason that mattered is because it wasn't clear that those joint person AI inventions would actually be patentable at all.
Okay, so if I'm an inventor of what have you, this is good news for me. It expands the scope and reach of my intellectual powers, I suppose. If I'm like OpenAI and AI is my product and I want it to be as useful as ever, I'm probably not too happy.
Well, I think it's probably good all around, actually. So if you're OpenAI, maybe you were hoping for an outcome where you, the AI developer, was going to have an ownership stake in all of these inventions. Sure, that would have been the best case scenario. Let's say this is the second best case scenario because it incentivizes people to use your product. People who use your product can still get a patent on whatever that end product is. And so I think it's good all around.
I may be skipping a generation or two of generative AI development, although maybe this is already happening. I don't know. But at some point, AI is going to be able to invent something all by its lonesome. Then what happens?
Yes, that's right. And AI has actually already done that.
Oh, good. The future is here.
And it's still developing. And that case has been heard by courts and seen by the Patent Office. And the Patent Office says here, if AI was the only one to develop the invention, if there were no people involved at all, that's probably not patentable. So you probably can't have just AI going off. Well, they can invent it, but they probably can't get a patent on it.
There's a little bit of whack-a-mole here, right? Because this technology is developing incredibly fast. Federal bureaucracy, for all of its nimbleness, sometimes simply can't keep up, right? The government is going to be behind.
Maybe. What the Patent Office is trying to do is issue flexible guidelines that will apply as technology develops. And, this is not a new problem. Technology has has developed for many centuries, many millennia, laws have proved able to adapt. Sometimes they're general enough that they can adapt. And the Patent Office has issued general guidelines that hopefully will take us through, although who knows, the future is changing. But they've said they can revise as necessary.
Janet Freilich at Fordham Law. Professor Freilich, thanks for your time, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Let's do the numbers. Wawas. Haven't heard those in a while, huh? Dow Industrial's down 404 points, 1%, 38,585. The NASDAQ down 267. That's 1 2/3%, 15,939. The S&P 500 down 52 points, 1% there as well, 5,078. Meta Platforms suffered a massive outage today, affecting hundreds of thousands of Facebook Messenger and Instagram users all over the planet. Meta slipped 1 6/10% today. Elsewhere in tech, Google parent Alphabet wilted about 0.5%. Amazon down 1 9/10%. Salesforce, which owns the messaging platform Slack, love it or hate it, by the way, down 5%. Bonds rose. Yield on the 10-year T-note fell to 4.14%. You're listening to Marketplace.
The Marketplace Numbers segment is supported by Odoo, simple management software for all your business needs. Marketplace is supported by Twilio. With real-time customer data and digital communication channels in a single platform, Twilio makes delivering the right message at the right time to the right customer a reality. Learn more at Twilio.com. And by the Schultz Family Foundation and the American Opportunity Index, a new ranking of how well companies invest in talent to drive business performance and advance employees' careers. More at AmericanOpportunityIndex.org. And by Microsoft Visio, designed to help users create powerful visuals to bring their best ideas to life. With hundreds of ready-to-use templates and shapes, Visio makes it easy to collaborate on professional diagrams anytime, anywhere. Microsoft.com/Visio.
You're listening to WNYC. You're listening to Marketplace on WNYC. Coming your way at 7 o'clock, it's All Things Considered. That's followed by special coverage of Super Tuesday and the results and analysis that it entails at 8 p.m. tonight. If you tune in tomorrow, you'll hear Morning Edition. You'll hear The Brian Lehrer Show. You hear all of it. You'll hear Fresh Air. All of these programs are brought to you by listener support, voluntary monetary contributions from you listening right now. That is what makes all this go. That's what makes all of the programming here at WNYC tick. Not just because it is the money that fuels everything we do, but it also infuses everything we do with the spirit of public media, in that we don't report to anybody other than you. Our editorial independence comes from the fact that we are funded by voluntary monetary contributions from the public in public media. And that gives us the ability to cover what we want and cover the things and talk about the things that we want without any sort of outside influence. And we know that is why you are here listening to the station, because it's a trustworthy news source in a myriad of sources that maybe not so trustworthy. So know that when you are listening to this station, it is brought to you by voluntary contributions, which we hope you are joining your family and friends and community members in contributing to. 888-376-9692 or WNYC.org.
And I know you Marketplace listeners are so loyal. I know this is a program that you tune in to catch, 6:30 on WNYC. It's been there for a long time. And thank you. Thank you for listening to Marketplace. Thank you for feeling like this is a show that is one of those that you really want to turn to. It's great. We love having Kai and the gang on the radio station, and we love it when you show your support by making a contribution. That's how you can tell us, yeah, Marketplace is an important program to me. Make a contribution while you're listening to this program right now. And as an added incentive, I would be remiss if I did not tell you we are in a dollar-for-dollar matching period. So economically, it's really a good time to make a contribution because your dollars will go twice as far. It is a dollar-for-dollar match thanks to a generous anonymous donor, but this match is ending in less than 17 minutes. It is going to end at 7 o'clock. The match is happening right now. You're listening right now. Don't put it off. Please show your support. Let us thank you as we're able to thank everybody else who's made a contribution. Your contribution fuels everything you hear on WNYC. And right now we've got extra fuel in the gas tank with this dollar-for-dollar match. 888 888-376-WNYC, 888-376-9692, or the match is in effect at the website WNYC.org.
Hi, I'm Kai Risdall from Marketplace. Normally, I would spend the next 30 seconds asking you to make a financial contribution to this public radio station. But that's all been said before. So instead, let's listen to what public radio would sound like without your investment. Heard enough? The best reason to support public radio is because you count on it. And now, we count on hearing from you.
We want to hear from you at 888-376-9692 or WNYC.org. Dead air like that is like, we're all freaking out when we hear that because, oh my God, what happened? But truly, that is what would happen if you were not supporting this public radio station with monetary contributions, because that is the reality of it. It is voluntary contributions from the listening public that make this happen, and we are asking you right now to open your hearts, open your wallets, to contribute what you can to this public radio station. It is a matching period, so know that it goes twice as far right now. 888-376-9692 or WNYC.org.
Tick, 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 tick. Not as bad as radio silence, but still, hopefully a compelling tick, 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 meaning the dollar for dollar match is ticking away. There are 15 minutes left to have your dollars double during this matching period. It is a dollar for dollar matching period. It's the final opportunity to double your donation during All Things Considered and Marketplace. It is happening now. You're listening now. I promise it'll take just a few minutes of your time. Whether you do it yourself, make that pledge online at WNYC.org, click on donate, or call the good folks at the pledge line, where the dollar for dollar match is also in effect for another less than 15 minutes. 888-376-9692, 888-376-WNYC. Dollar for dollar match in effect until 7 o'clock. Please donate, and thank you.
This is Marketplace. I'm Kai Risdall. Households in this economy are getting deeper and deeper in debt. $17.5 trillion in the fourth quarter of last year. That's a better than 1% increase over Q3. Car loans and credit cards are the main culprits, affecting mostly younger borrowers. Also, though, for all of us, the dollar amount we're all paying for interest on that debt as a percentage of our incomes has been moving up sharply over the past year. Marketplace's Sabri Benishore takes a look at what's going on there.
In just the final 3 months of last year, we added to our household debt $271 billion. That is 19% higher than the average for that time of year over the last 2 decades. Cassie Happy is with Wallet Hub.
Not only are we adding more to those balances, but what we're paying in interest to pay off those balances has been growing as well.
That is because the Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates, and that has hit credit cards hard. Ted Rossman is with Bankrate.com.
We see right now 49% of credit card holders carry debt from month to month. 3 years ago, 39% of card holders had debt.
The average rate on that credit card debt reached 22.8% last year, a record high. On the other hand,
incomes have gone up quite a bit.
We are more able to carry the debt we're taking on.
It doesn't always feel that way. I think if you say this to the average American, they're like, what wage gains? My rent is up, my grocery bill's up.
But when you look at the interest we're paying as a percentage of our income, things are not nearly as bad as in decades past. Loretta Roney is CEO of In Charge Debt Solutions, a nonprofit credit counseling agency. She says today's interest rates, as high as they are, aren't that high.
When I bought my very first house in 2007, my interest rate was 6%, and I thought that was fantastic, especially if you compare that to the 80s when they were up in the teens.
Today, though, we are hopefully just getting to some kind of balance between income and debt. Roney says we are many years away from some kind of crisis tipping point where our debt gets beyond our ability to pay it off. In New York, I'm Sabri Benishore for Marketplace.
According to the Department of Justice, more than 650,000 people get out of prison every year. They have to figure out how to fit back into society. They have to find a place to live. and they have to find a job. And often education is the key to that last step. Education they have gotten while still incarcerated. And as Marketplace's Elizabeth Troval reports, access to higher education is expanding in prisons nationwide.
It was a chaotic day at work for Amber Galvan. I sit down with her at a North Houston coffee shop to hear about her new job.
It was insane busy. Today, I did probably like 100 emails.
Galvan got out of prison last May and says she feels good about her gig tracking airplane parts.
When I was looking for a job, I was like, I know how to interview. I know how to do this stuff, but it takes practice and, a lot of rejection for somebody like me who has a background.
She's grateful her new boss kept her on staff when she broke it to him.
You didn't bring this up in the interview with me. You didn't run a background check with me, but I want you to know that I'm on parole.
It's a tight spot to be in as Galvan restarts her life after a year and a half in prison for a domestic violence charge. While in prison, her marriage ended, she couldn't see her kids, and she lost most of her personal belongings. Her mom has helped her out.
She says my bill's like close to $10,000.
To pay for rent, a car, her phone, insurance. Galvan is managing her own bills now and feels confident in her career path. In prison, she got a GED and took classes at Lee College in business management and logistics. The public community college educates roughly 1,200 incarcerated students a semester. At their admin building in Huntsville, Texas, I catch up with Brandon Warren, who leads the college's reentry program and also attended Lee College while in prison.
I graduated with 128 hours, did a air conditioning certification, a construction carpentry certification, a horticulture certification, and then my actual degree was in humanities.
Warren decided he wanted to support people like him going to college, which also helps them stay out of prison.
My grandmother used to send me stuff, and this was when the internet was just starting, like this is 2000, 2001. My grandmother was learning how to do the internet, would print me off stuff, and other people didn't have a grandma like mine.
So now he does that for incarcerated current and former students.
So if they wanted to know what is A&M's bachelor's degree in agriculture look like, how much does it cost, I'll go to A&M, I'll print out their degree plan, the cost, and send it in. If they want to know what halfway houses are in San Antonio, I'll go find that.
He leads a growing reentry team at Lee College's Huntsville Center, a rare program that has served incarcerated students for 6 decades. In 1994, Congress banned prisoners from receiving federal student aid through the Pell Grant. Hundreds of programs shut down as a result, but Lee Colleges survived.
The Texas legislature decided to put aside money that would then fund on a loan basis people's education. So that was pretty unique for Texas, especially when we have the tough on crime, harsh conservative, lock them up, throw away the key.
With state funding, grants, and private sector funds, Lee College continued for 2 decades. Then, when Congress restored federal student aid for people in prison in 2015, Lee College was able to teach about twice as many students. Ruth Delaney is with the nonprofit Vera Institute of Justice.
As we look at the people that we have in prison, the talent that we have locked up, and the opportunities that could await them when they come home, there's lots of reasons to get on board.
Federal aid for incarcerated students is expanding. Many new colleges and universities are applying to create their own programs, following in Lee College's footsteps. In Houston, I'm Elizabeth Troval for Marketplace.
Marketplace is supported by Palo Alto Networks. Palo Alto Networks delivers what's next in cybersecurity innovation to protect today's digital way of life. Learn more at paloaltonetworks.com. And by Sonar. Used by millions of developers, Sonar ensures that all code, including code written by AI, is secure, reliable, and maintainable. More at sonarsource.ai.
And by Indiana University's Kelley School of Business, developing tomorrow's business leaders through the nationally ranked Kelley Direct Online MBA. More at iu.edu/online MBA.
This final note on the way out today brought to you by the letters B, T, and C. BTC is, of course, the ticker symbol for Bitcoin, which hit a record high today, $69,200 and change. And then it fell almost 7%. Why? Who knows? That's just the way Bitcoin works. Our digital and on-demand team includes Carrie Barber, Jordan Manji, Dylan Miettinen, Janet Wynn, Olga Oxman, Ellen Rolfes, Virginia K. Smith, and Tony Wagner. Francesca Levy is the executive director of Digital and On Demand. I'm Kai Risdall. We will see you tomorrow, everybody. This is APM.